Yeah, I know, right?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Pretty good.
We got some company for you.
Okay.
Some young man that thinks he knows you.
Come on in. Oh my goodness.
That takes you
Yep.
13,100, nearly doubling it. Donald,
You know who I am?
12,600. Did you come up
Look
with
at me real close now.
What is you listening?
I'll take the mask down.
That's not correct, and you will
Really?
lose
You don't know who I am.
almost all of it, leaving you with just
No.
$300. Amy Schneider, our returning.
You care if I turn that down a little bit?
We do something. I know how to
Did she
turn
come up
it
with
off.
waiting for
It's
good?
tricky.
Are you supposed to wear glasses next?
Potential for a big payoff today. Did you make a big wager?
You don't have glasses on?
That takes you to $38,400. You are a 19-day
Oh, here and then there.
Appreciate that, Max. I'm Bobby Jackson's boy. Me and you are first cousins.
Okay.
I'm Bobby Jackson's boy, and I live down there in Hopin where Miss Aldale used to live. You remember Miss Aldale?
Yeah. What have you been doing lately?
Well, just a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I'm gonna tell you for the past couple of weeks, it's been kind of rough out there, pertaining to all the storms. Have you heard about what kind of damage everybody's gotten? You hadn't. By the way, I'm recording this, if that'll be all right with you.
Yeah.
Hickman, Kentucky got hit a little bit, and I just found out that some other places up in Kentucky got hit real hard. Up towards Mayfield, they got damage like we ain't never experienced, or they had never experienced before. It literally just wiped them almost completely off the map. It hit Kenton, Tennessee, got about 40 houses there in Kenton, Tennessee. It come up in behind me, up behind the bottom there, the old Davy Crockett bottom in behind me.
Yep.
Come within probably a quarter mile of me, and then it come up between Sharon and Victory Baptist Church, and it went around Sharon, luckily, and then it come back around in through Dresden, and it almost hit the nursing home there at Dresden. It probably come within a football field of hitting it, but it literally just wiped everything from then on to Dresden and inside Dresden and all around the court square. It's all gone. I say it's all gone. I mean, I think they counted over 100 structures that was completely destroyed in the city limits of Dresden, and I don't know what all was destroyed just in the county alone. I don't know if they've done a county assessment yet or not.
Sandburg didn't get too bad. It didn't.
Sandburg, Tennessee?
Yeah.
Sandburg got wiped out.
Not all as bad as it. One side did, one side didn't.
That's right.
The lake side never got bothered.
That's right. But where the townsmanship and the fire station, the brand new fire station, city hall, and all that, yeah, it got wiped out.
And you go on down there, and Blue Bank got a little damage, not bad. And there was one down there called Lakeview.
Yeah, Lakeview got damaged all the way.
It's gone. Where the resort crosses, Cypress Point Resorts across the road from it.
Well, do you know where the spillway is?
Yeah, which one, the old one or the new one?
The old one.
Yeah. There's two of them. First one.
That tornado actually done a double deal down there, because it was twisting all over the water, and it hit that park on the lower end right there in front of where that restaurant you're talking about. It wiped that park out, and I don't know, probably 2 or 3 other parks out through there.
I heard it didn't bother Boyettes.
It didn't bother Boyettes. It didn't. It went on down past Boyettes. As a matter of fact, I just ate last night at Boyettes.
And there's a barbecue place down there. It didn't bother it.
No, it didn't.
Because if you ever noticed, I forgot about this, because I've ate there several times.
Really?
And that place was down in the low spot.
How did you know so much about it?
But I lived down there.
Well, Maxie, I ain't gonna lie to you. I've been to your house twice whenever the eruption first took place, I thought, well, I'm going to go down there and kill two birds with one stone. And I'll go down there and see Mr. Maxey. And I looked at your house, and your house was evacuated. I went to the neighbor across the road, and I asked him, I said, where's Maxey at? He said, man, I don't have a clue. He said, matter of fact, I couldn't swear to you that he hadn't died. I said, what, died? He said, yeah, I ain't seen him over in the past 3 or 4 months. He goes, if you go on down the road there, that's where the caretaker is supposed to be. Stop in there, and maybe they'll come out and talk to you. Well, I knocked on the door, and I never could get nobody to come. Well, I waited 2 weeks later, and I went to Sandburg back last night, or yesterday evening, down around Reelfoot Lake, down around Tiptonville. Tiptonville didn't hardly get no damage at all. But I stopped and knocked on that same door again. 3 cars that was out there, but no one would never come to the door. And I seen that same guy that was right across the road from you, that guy that's got that real nice place over there. I don't know who he is.
Charles Gray.
What did he used to do?
He used to work, he was guard down at the prison.
All his life?
Oh, not all his life. He done that for about 20 years. That's his second retirement right there.
Probably. But anyways, he was outside the house taking in some Christmas presents. And I said, sir, I've tried to knock on that door again. And I said, I just cannot get nobody to come to that door. He said, I remember you. You're that feller that come in here last week that was looking for Maxie, your cousin. I said, yes, sir. He said, well, I found some good news. I said, well, what is it? He said, I found out that he's not dead. They had picked him up. He got sick, and he wound up having to go to the hospital. And since then, they didn't think he'd be able to take care of himself. And you've been up here now the whole time. So, which leads me to another question. First of all, does your sister know that you're here?
Yeah.
Norma knows that you're here? Has she visited you by chance?
Oh, yeah.
She has?
Yeah.
Norma Jean from East Tennessee?
Yeah. Most of the time you want to know anything about me, you can go down there to that store at Sandburg.
What store? Oh, that where they sell gas and stuff?
Yeah.
That didn't get tore up? Because that's on down a little ways, ain't it?
No, it just didn't. It was lucky, because it's hit there before and ain't bothered that place.
Really? Well, anyways, I was going to ask you, Maxie, what in the world happened to all your stuff? Did Norma Jean come down here and get all your stuff? Because you had a slew of freaking guns and all kinds of pictures and albums.
I brought my guns in one place and my furniture and everything's in a storage place up here.
Oh, you got somebody holding your guns for you?
Yeah.
Is it that guy down there that your carekeeper?
Yeah.
Your carekeeper, what's his name?
Raymond.
Raymond?
Yeah.
That ain't the guy right across from you, is it?
No, that's Charles Gray.
That's the guy down that's got the nice looking porch.
Yeah.
And he's got that carport where he's got one of his vehicles in there.
Yeah.
Well, how come he won't come out?
I don't know.
He won't come out. Why? I mean, if 3 vehicles is there, where in the world do you think they was? Sleeping?
I don't know. I haven't seen him in a while. And everything.
How many guns did you have, Maxie? Probably over 25, didn't you?
About 20.
You had some of them old 12 gauge upper and lower, and
No,
you had some antique guns.
I had two double barrels.
What brand was they?
Stevens 311.
Okay.
One 12, one was 16.
Okay.
Now I have a 20 gauge pump like that. I got one I got there. I got a Browning, Belgian Browning. It's 12 gauge. Now, you couldn't use that thing on squirrel.
Why? Tear them up.
Oh Lord, there wouldn't be nothing left.
Did you by chance wind up getting anything at all from the old Lim store that your dad used to run pertaining to any type of stuff that he may have collected through Jeff Jackson?
No.
Well, my son Nicholas, that lives down in Memphis now, he done one of those family tree things
Yeah.
on TV that they advertise. And man, he's digging up all kind of information about us.
Mm.
You done a study at one time, didn't you?
Norma did.
Was it Norma that done the study?
Yeah.
And we was supposed to have come from over in England somewhere, didn't we?
I think so. England or Scotland. I can't remember which.
Of course, did she ever do a study on the Davises?
No.
She didn't do a study on the Davises?
No. See, we're not related to the Davises.
Well, I think we were related to the Davises. My grandmother was a Davis. She married my grandfather.
Who was that?
Aldell was a Davis.
Yeah, but see, Uncle Kilmer was a Jackson.
I know that, but we're still kin to him by name.
Yeah.
We may not be kin to him by blood, but we're still kin to him by name, Maxie.
We are in a way, in a way we're not,
You remember Gladys?
Yeah, I remember Gladys.
You remember Pauline?
Yeah.
Well, see, they all come from the same crop.
Ed and Gladys used to have that place up there, right above on Kilmer's.
Well, they used Uncle Leon used to have that place running behind us too.
Yeah.
Before Ed White bought it and turned it into a milk barn.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And I was told that they kept that place immaculate. I don't know how true it was. I got something to ask you, Max.
What?
First of all, I want to say happy late Christmas to you.
Yeah.
Do you by chance remember whenever, I know you remember whenever Big Daddy died.
Yeah.
Kilmer.
Yeah.
Do you by chance remember whenever his sister died over there at Bill Ramsey and Mosell's? Me and you was in that vehicle and we took off. You got a telephone call on the green phone, and you took off towards Jinx's, and you went down and up, and I swear to you, Maxie, I don't know what we were driving, but whatever it was, before we got down to the corner, we had to have been at least doing 100 mile an hour. And to be on a gravel road doing 100 mile an hour, you about scared me to death.
But
We went around that corner sideways, and you got in Bill Ramsey's yard, I know, in less than 60 seconds from the time you left 291 Thompson Road.
Moselle that died that day.
Was it Moselle that died that day?
Yeah.
I thought it was,
Her mother,
yeah, what was her name?
Berthy Chapel.
Berthy Chapel.
Yeah.
And she was full-blooded Indian, wasn't she?
No. See, Berthy Chapel, Mam and Pap Jackson had 4 daughters and 2 sons. 3 of the daughters I knew. One of them I never knew, okay?
Okay.
Now, her name was Viola. Now, Viola died in 1942. She is buried somewhere in Memphis because she was married to a Claude Ruddington. And they lived there in Memphis. She died in about February of 42. Dad was in the Army. He got to leave. He was in Denver, Colorado, and come home for 2 weeks. Spent that time.
You're talking about your father, Leon.
Yeah.
Which is Kilmer Jackson, my grandfather's brother.
Yeah. And he spent 2 weeks where he would come back to Denver to the hospital where he was stationed at. She died about a week later, and he never went back home till he was discharged from the Army. Then the other one was...
Was he in World War II?
No, he got a medical discharge.
But what? Oh, okay. But would he have been in World War II?
No, he was in the medical corps. He signed up for one thing and wound up being a medic. But you see, there was Aunt Berthy, Aunt Molina, and Aunt Lizzie. Aunt Lizzie died in 62. And Uncle Kurt, that was her husband, he died in March.
Where's Aunt Lizzie buried at? Up around Victory Baptist Church going towards Sharon?
I think she's buried there at Alamo.
What would her last name be?
Simmons.
Simmons.
Mhm.
See, there was a tie-off between us and the Simmons, wasn't it? Somehow or another, we crisscrossed with the Simmons and the Davises down in there, didn't we?
Uncle Kurt, that was her husband. His last name was Simmons. And they had 3 kids, two boys and a girl. There was Joe Simmons, Roscoe. That's the 2 boys that they're gone now. And
Was Roscoe Dan Simmons' brother?
Huh?
Was Roscoe Dan Simmons' brother?
Uh-uh.
How was Roscoe kin to Dan Simmons?
He wasn't.
Oh, he wasn't. That was a different set of Simmonses down there then, wasn't it? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
See, that's kind of like over there at Kenton. There's another set of Jacksons over there that we're not kin to.
Yeah. And Doris Helen, she married James Betts. I don't know, he's from somewhere. I forget where he's from. And they had 2 daughters, 2 kids. Donnie Betts and I forget their daughter. Their daughter lives over in Greenfield. And Donnie Betts was killed in a car wreck outside of Reeves one morning.
Did he kill him?
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Then one night, Aunt Bolina, when she married Dalton Lee. Dalton had been married before and he had several children. And her, Aunt Bolina and Uncle Dalton, they had 2 or 3 children. I know there was Dwayne Lee and Anita Lee.
Okay, let's get back to Jeff Jackson, the one that actually bought Liam's store from Mr. Ridgeway.
No, he built Ridge Store. He built Lim's store.
He built Lim's store. Really?
He built it about 1917.
Right before the Great Depression hit.
Yeah.
And he owned several farms around there, didn't he?
No.
I thought he had a farm down there by where his brother was. What was his name? Cecil Jackson was his brother.
No, it was his cousin.
I thought Cecil was his brother.
They were cousins.
All right. Who was Jeff Jackson's brothers?
Oh Lord, I even forgot who that was now.
But one of them wound up coming over this way, and I was told that wound up having a cleaner business over here, and then he had a son, and his son now works for the TVI. His name is Jeff Jackson.
I'll say
They're kin to us too.
my great grandfather, I'll forget his name. He's buried out at Cane Creek. Him and his wife are. He died in 1904. And I had a list. He had 7 or 8 boys and girls. So Lord.
Who was your great grandfather?
Jeff Jackson, I think.
Yeah, Jeff Jackson.
Yeah, he served in the Confederate Army in the Civil War.
No, Jeff Jackson didn't. His
Yeah.
father did.
Well, this one did, you know.
His father did, because they're buried up there at the Primitive Baptist Church in between Reeves and Malpedia. That's where they're all buried at up in there.
Oh.
And you took a bunch of pictures one time. It was I think it was a B.J. Jackson.
I ain't for sure. But most of them people are buried. If you go around Alamo, you'll find them there.
Well, I believe we've got some kin folks in the old Alamo Baptist Cemetery.
Oh, yeah, I
the
know.
original Baptist cemetery over there.
I know where Kilmer and Aunt Dell's buried. Then in back of them, there's where Mom and Dad's buried.
Yeah.
And right next to Mom and Dad's, my boys.
Right.
Chris's grave.
Right.
Then in back of them is Pam and Pap Jackson.
Right.
And you go on back and you can see Kurt and Lizzie Simmons marker there.
Right. Right. Maxie, whenever that fire had that fire, did that also take out your wife, or was it just her 2 children and one of your children?
It's 3 children and her.
It got her too.
Yeah. She died. The children and her were in Galveston, Texas.
Where was they? What was her name? What was her maiden name?
Karen.
Who?
Karen. Karen.
And they come from the Dallas, Fort Worth area, or where?
No, they lived around Martin. See, they needed burn singers, and there was none. The only one I can think of around here would be Vanderbilt. But you go to Galveston, and within walking distance, there's two of them.
I didn't know that.
There's,
Well, didn't Jeff stay in the hospital for over a year, getting worked on, pretending to all them burns?
He was there about 6 weeks.
Oh, I thought he was in there for a longer period of time than that.
See, they were in Shriners down there.
In Houston,
No, in Galveston.
in Galveston.
Where all I had to do was go from.
Is that the hospital that the Masons support?
Yeah, they got 21 Shriners hospitals.
In Texas or all over America?
All over.
Okay.
And 3 of them are Boston, Cincinnati, and Galveston are burn units. That's all they take care of is burns.
I got you.
And then John Sleevey is the one it's right around, you just walk out of the Shriners down there in Galveston, just walk around the sidewalk there, you go into John Sleevey, and that sucker's 10 stories tall.
Oh, it's a big building.
And it's the University of Texas Medical Center.
That's no doubt. They do a good thing whenever it comes to that right
And
there.
it is one big hospital.
It's no doubt. It's kind of like St. Jude's Hospital. I mean, that's a blessing in disguise.
There's Jeannie Sleevey.
Okay.
That's a mental place.
Okay.
And there's an alley there between them, you go through there, you go under a building there.
Right. Right.
I started to go through there one time. Just to see
So did you actually just go down there and stay in a hotel somewhere down there?
Like they had me a place to stay down there, a little apartment like.
I know it turned your world upside down. Anybody that loses a whole family like that.
But I started to go through that place one time, but I kept on walking underneath it. It's a good thing I didn't.
Why?
That place is 7 stories tall, and it's Texas Department of Corrections Medical Center. It's a prison hospital.
I just imagine they have real stiff protocol in there.
Yeah.
Getting back to Jeff, has Jeff contacted you or made any type of?
No, he's in
Denver.
He's in Colorado.
Denver, Colorado.
I didn't know where he was at. I haven't. It's been 30 years since I've been to Denver.
Do you know Sarge?
Who?
Sarge? Or Major?
I don't know anything about him now. I wouldn't even know where he's living at.
Well, Major lives down there at where he lives. Matter of fact, I'm still got Major's telephone number down there.
At one time, he was living there at Midway, in back of Midway.
Right. Major is originally from Union City.
Yeah.
But he's like Jeff. He wanted to go to Colorado because Colorado was one of the first states who passed canvassed the marijuana new laws, and that's the reason why they struck off down there. Now, Jeff told me the reason why he wanted to go was because he's in excessive pain all the time, and that one leg,
Yeah.
I guess probably if the truth be known, they should have went ahead and
Yeah.
decapitated it. You know what I'm saying? But he would have been a cripple all his life, but he's a cripple anyway, towards it always festering up on him and stuff. How old is he now?
Well, he was born in 73, so you can go from there. He's around 50.
See, 1983 wasn't a good year for me neither. You hear me? 1983, I had a Buick Regal roll over on top of me down there in Hopin and almost took my freaking life. And then later on that falls, whenever you had your incident pertaining to the fire.
It was 73 when Jeff was born.
73.
Yeah, June 73. I can't remember.
He was the oldest, right?
Yeah, I can't remember. It's the 21st or the 24th.
But Christopher didn't make it, did he?
Mm-mm. Let's see.
Did you know that your mother and your father never was the same after that?
I know. And I can't remember where Jeff was born on the 21st or the 24th, because one was born either 24th or the 21st. I get Norman and Jeff's birthday mixed up because they played right there together.
You know Glenn?
Yeah.
He wound up going down to Memphis and becoming a principal or something down there, wasn't he?
No, he worked with the VA Veterans Hospital down there.
He did.
He was an inhalation therapist. He gave breathing treatments and everything.
You talking about the redheaded one?
Yeah. And
Glenn.
yeah, he went to school. He went to college at Alabama.
Now Glenn and Linda, they were sisters and brothers, right?
Yeah.
From Moselle and Bill.
Yeah.
Okay. As far as I know, Glenn's still living, correct?
Yeah, as far as I know, I can tell you.
And he still owns that property over there across the road where Bill, his father, used to own. He's still
he owns
he's still telling it out to, I think, Max Morgan.
I don't know who's got it, but see, there's a lot of land right there that people don't know about.
Oh, I know.
See, there's two places there. Bill had that one to start with.
Okay.
Or back about 1950, there was a Kurt Simmons and my Aunt Lizzie, they lived up there. They lived back there, and they had one hell of a big house back there.
You talking about on Pratt's Lane? Pratt's Lane used to be drivable?
Who?
Pratt's Lane.
I don't know. There used to be a road there, but
That's Pratt's Lane.
goes back there.
That's right. That's Pratt's Lane. That's the road whenever me and the Davis boy was out there doing some pranking one night, and I had a hornet's nest over my head with two eyes cut out and a red flashlight, and he wrapped me up in tinfoil, and I looked like a space alien. And then all of a sudden, some coon hunters about 2 o'clock at night come through there. I guess they've been drinking, about 4 or 5 of them. Man, they stopped that freaking truck. Skidding tires, and commenced to shooting at me and Dwayne. And we had to turn and run into that Pratt's Lane and get over into Bill Ramsey's. I left a trail of freaking I left a trail probably almost a quarter of a mile of tinfoil. You could see little bitty pieces of tinfoil, and I was scratched up from head to freaking toe. I'm gonna tell you something, Maxie. Whenever bullets are coming at you, you can feel the heat coming off of them. If they get close enough to your face, you can literally feel the heat coming off of a bullet.
But when you got up there to that place, you had to go through a gate to go in.
Yeah.
And it was right in there where that house was. It burned.
Across from where the house is now.
Well, back then.
Back in there, way back up there.
Well, back then you just went through that gate and you didn't go back.
Whose house was it? Who built that house?
I don't know. Kurt Simmons and Lizzie was living there, and that burned in 1950 around there.
Okay.
And Moselle and Bill bought the place.
Well, when did your daddy, Leon, take over the store?
Oh, Dad never did take it over. He never did run the store.
I thought he run the store.
Charlie Marcus run it.
Well, your dad owned it.
Yeah, owned it, and Charlie run it.
And of course, he had that old house right there beside of it. And I remember whenever that burnt, didn't it?
No. See, Charlie Marcus, about 1950, I think it was, he built a house right across from there, that block house.
Yeah.
On the corner.
Yeah, on the corner.
That's the one Charlie Marcus built.
Did that at one time used to be the county line road right there?
No, the county line road would be about that road right there where we was talking about going back to the old Kurt Simmons place.
Well, I looked it up on the map, and they've done some changing towards excavating. And at one time, Weakley County used to go on down that hill a little ways, down there about where Bill was.
No.
At one time, yes it did. Back in 1800s, yes it did.
But where has always been, what I can remember, when you turned off to go back to the old Kurt Simmons place, it was right in there was the county line.
So did you know all the Wallaces?
Oh, I know Jinx and Jimmy, because they lived over there by Dylan and Kilmer's.
Did you know the Harrisons?
Which ones?
The Harrisons that we bought the house from. Dennis Harrison.
No, I never did know Dennis.
And there was another house down there around that corner, down there below us. I never did know who lived in that, but Melvin Hill's wife said that was one of her uncles or kinfolks that used to live way down in that holler down in there.
I can't remember them all. I knew the Dosters up there,
Yeah.
and the Harrisons I know live up there in Cydonia. There's Rex Harrison, there's brother Tommy.
Right. Oh, there's a bunch of them. There's like 8 brothers in there or something like that. There's a bunch of them.
There's another one, the younger one, them two, and the older one, Larry Harrison. We started school together.
Played the band, didn't he?
Huh?
He played in the band, didn't he?
No, not that I know of.
Or his brother did. One of them did.
And man,
One of them was a mayor down there in Sharon for a little while.
and one of them, then me and Larry Harrison, Max Morgan, we all started school together there at Cydonia.
You did.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How about Jerry Madison? Do you remember him?
Jerry Madison? Yeah.
Our cousin.
He lives down there in Plano, Texas.
Yeah, that's where he is now, but he went to Cydonia School too, didn't he?
No, he never did go to school down here. He lived up in,
Illinois.
up around
Round Lake, Fox Lake, Round Lake.
And everything. And went in the Air Force, got out of that and stayed in Texas.
Well, I was told that Ruth Helen was born in that house that Homer Thompson used to live in.
I don't know, of course.
The house below us, in between us and Beach Grove Church,
Yeah.
that big white house right there, that at one time, Kilmer and Miss Aldell lived in that house. You know, they moved to Chicago and then come back,
Mm-hmm.
and they moved around a little bit back then because times was hard and they had to hunt money down because the 1929 Depression had happened, and they stayed up in Chicago, give or take, for about 7 or 8 years before they saved up a lot of money, and then they come back and they bought that farm there where Melvin Hill bought. Paid cash for it, the way I understand.
There's a bunch of old houses that are gone down there now.
Used to be a whole bunch of houses down there on Beach Ridge Bottom, didn't it?
I know of one back there, and that was it.
Used to be a sawmill back there, didn't it?
No, I don't remember the sawmill. Not back there, I don't. I know at one time they was going to build a duck hunting club back there, and I got part of it started and never did finish it. There's a block building back there, way back there.
Right,
I was going to be part of the duck hunting club.
right.
And there was a
I
house.
think what jinxed that deal was that Danny Coble went down there and had a mysterious accident,
And
a self-inflicting accident.
there was an old house back there then, but it's gone.
Did you know the Cobles?
I knew some of them.
Tom Coble,
Who-
Tom Coble that had all the girls down there,
No, I knew him. There was Tom Coble, Bud Coble,
right?
Dale Coble.
Right.
I knew them. That's about it.
Okay, whenever you used to live up there around that corner with Louise, around that corner, right there just from us, you used to live up there in the late 60s, early 70s. You remember that? You remember that little house right there on the corner? Probably less than a half a mile from our house.
I can't remember.
Herring Woodruff was right across from you. Remember Herring Woodruff?
Yeah. Let's see.
That's where you lived, right across from Herring Woodruff's place.
And that little place there I had, yeah. But I can't remember.
Did you own that or was you renting that?
I owned it.
You did.
Yeah. That was that Dorsker girl that lived there.
Your first wife, Louise,
Yeah.
what was her maiden name?
Wait a minute. The only time I can tell you.
Where did you hook up with her at, Maxie?
Huh?
Where did you hook up with her at?
Kennan.
Kenton.
Yeah.
So she must be a Flinch, maybe?
No, let's see. These, wait a minute. Halford.
Who?
Halford.
A Calford.
Yeah. She had one, let's see, it was one, two. She had two sisters and two brothers. Harold Halford and Terry Halford. And Terry you didn't want nothing to do with.
Why?
They'd steal your blind. We run him out of the house before for stealing for us.
Well, there wasn't nothing uncommon during that period of your life that you'd pull out a pistol and go shooting. You went shooting at Louise one night. I don't know if you remember that. That was about the same night that Leon had that mower over there, and he tipped that mower over on top of himself, and it's a wonder he didn't cut himself completely in two. You remember that?
Uh-huh.
Whenever he turned that mower over,
Yeah.
he was drinking.
Yep.
When did he quit drinking?
Oh, I don't know.
Probably in his 50s or 60s? Have you given up drinking?
Not like they used to. Doug Jackson used to have a monument down there. I don't know, but I ain't been down there to look at it or anything.
Who?
Doug. There's Danny, Doug, Dennis, and
I'm Dennis.
then yet there was David.
And David. David passed away
Yeah.
about in 2017.
Yeah.
And did you know that bunch down there falsely accused me of me taking my own brother's life? They're a bunch of meaner than snakes down there.
I don't hardly get around.
You remember Bill Dawson?
Yeah, I remember him.
You remember him that was married to what was her name? Mary
Yeah.
Dawson?
Yeah.
Do you remember Steve Dawson, the big tall boy?
I should, but I moved from her back. Oh Lord.
Well, the point that I'm trying to make is that same house where Bill used to live that he done mechanic work out of,
Yeah.
it's now a castle. It belongs to the Wiccan religion. There's a Wiccan, a cult that lives less than an eighth of a mile from where I live, that has moved into that territory right down there by Calvin Hall. I know you remember Calvin Hall.
Yeah.
You remember Gale Hall as one of his boys?
Not really.
You remember the Coopers?
I should. Like I said.
You remember the Hazelwoods up there in Sidonia?
Yeah, some of them.
All right. Do you remember the Horns? Remember Mr. Horn that used to have the car lot there in Sharon? Him and Jeter Thompson? Up there where the three sisters used to be?
Yeah, I think that was Bill Horn.
Bill Horn, yeah.
Okay, I know Bill Horn.
Yeah, he had a boy by the name of Steve Horn. Me and him went to school together.
But
I think he's living down at Jackson. I don't know if he sells cars or not. It's a wonder if he don't.
I left up there back about 73. I moved over to Union City, and I've been over here since. You know.
Yeah, you kind of abandoned us from over there. Why did you do that? Did you?
It was close to work, close to Goodyear,
I got you.
and I didn't have that far to drive.
You remember my brother Douglas that working for Goodyear whenever he got killed, don't you?
Yeah, he was a tire builder out there. Because we went on strike that year.
Did you ever build tires, or what was you?
I worked in final finish service. Landberry, a stock prep, tire room,
Which was the hardest? What was the hardest job out there?
probably building tires.
Really? Working in presses?
Presses was hot and everything.
Yeah,
It was miserable in there.
it was.
And
Well, that Mosley boy pulled out in front of Douglas Keith right there in Sidonia, and he didn't have time to blink an eye. And of course, he slammed up against that 806 International Tractor.
where was that at?
Huh?
Where was that at, you said?
Right there in Sidonia, in front of the old Harry and Herman gas station,
Yeah,
across from Tunk and Elliott.
yeah,
Remember Tunk and Elliott?
yeah. I haven't seen him.
Tonkin Elliott had a meal over there. He'd cook you up some hamburgers, some real good hamburgers, and he had a little pool table over there. Remember the pool table?
Yeah, his mother and daddy built that.
Did you know that Miss Reynolds just died like 3 years ago? She was like almost 100 years old.
Like I said, I don't hardly get around there anymore.
You remember Connie White?
I remember Connie White.
Yeah, Connie White.
He had a store there in Sladonia.
He had a store in Hopin. No, he had a store in, you're right, he had a store in Sidonia. He sure did.
And Ed White, his son, run the store down there.
Down in Hopin. Yeah, I forgot about that store up there in Sidonia. That was before you got to Sidonia on the left-hand side, wasn't
It
it?
was right there at the four-way. It said on, you know where Doug had that accident?
Yeah.
Right across the road there was another long building.
Okay, does it got a slanted roof to it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's gone now, but that was a grocery store there.
It sure was.
And
How long did Connie run that thing?
I don't know. Shorty and his wife Annie B built that one there where the pool room is at. They built that place there.
They did. But you're telling me that Jeff Jackson built that limb store?
Yeah.
And where he got where the name come in with the limb store is whenever he was working for the state, whenever they was hanging black people out there, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Had you ever heard that tale before, or that story before? Had you?
But
You knew that he worked for the state, right? Towards being like a duty-ator or something like that. That was way before. I think that was shortly after Tennessee become a state, and it was before they actually had seats in all the counties. In other words, it was more of a territory at that time than it was.
Pappy Jackson, built that store down there. And Charlie Marcus run it for years down there. He run that store. And he lived in back of it, Charlie, Miss Maud did. Then they built that new home, a block home right across from it, that corner from
It's still there.
Huh?
It's still there.
Yeah. He built that place. It's 2 big living room, big kitchen, 2 bedrooms, and a bathroom in it. And that's where he was living when he died.
But Leon lived right there by the store.
Yeah.
Well, what happened to that place that Leon was living in? Did it burn or did he tear it down?
But the old house he tore down and built a new one there.
Okay, then the new one's still there.
Yeah. And
What happened to the store?
it was tore down.
They tore it down too.
Yeah. Now that Charlie Marcus, his brother lived down the road there. You know where you turn to go to, you go down there, and before you got to the store down there, you could turn right and go down that road there.
Yeah.
Or the house on the left there at one time years ago. And that's where Furnace Marcus is.
Look at you go.
Folgers, it's coming your way.
Wow, you can't beat that.
You got it?
I got the recorder button over there going, so don't say nothing you ain't supposed to say.
All right.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm Dennis Jackson. I'm a cousin of Mr. Maxey here.
I'm Lisa.
You're Lisa? Okay.
CNA here at the.
How long have you been working here?
I've been here going on 2 weeks.
Oh, you're fresh then. Where did you come from?
Martin,
What part of Martin? Vance or where?
Diversicare.
Okay. Doesn't Vance still own that?
I don't.
You talking about the rehab place somewhere? Okay, you're not talking about the
I'm not
place
talking about Van
across from the hospital.
You talking about Cane Creek?
Cane Creek.
No.
Don't Van still own Cane Creek?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I came from Diversicare. So.
Well, where did you pick up your credentials at?
I got certified in 1999
In Martin?
in Dresden at Hillview Nursing Home. Little bitty Hillview.
Have you by chance been to Dresden since the tornadoes hit?
My daughter lives in Dresden.
So you've been there.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it a wreck?
Yes, sir. It's sad.
Did she get damaged?
She did not. She got a tree on her house, but as far as,
So in other words, it's rebuildable.
yes.
Yeah, you
Yes.
see a picture of what Dresden looked like?
Yeah. Yeah, it was
It's-
awful.
It's terrible.
Oh, you got a paper here.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you, ma'am, and I appreciate you taking care of my cousin.
No problem. I do it every day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
They woke me up.
Yeah. My God. What are you gonna do with this paper?
Oh, nothing,
Huh?
nothing.
Can I have it?
Yeah.
I'd like to keep this.
Let me see that just a minute and I'll show you something.
Hang on one second.
Okay. I get that every week.
You do?
Yeah, let me see that.
I can see right now, they take good care of you, bringing coffee in here to you. Does that come just like clockwork?
Nah, just whenever.
Just whenever?
Yeah. Okay, right here.
How old are you now, Max?
76.
Did you ever think that you'd live this long?
No. I would like to know something, man.
What's that? What you got going here? What you got? What you got? What you got?
See it, read that right there, that picture.
Volunteer with
McCullough.
McCullough, Timber and Lumber. Never heard of them.
I wanna know if this first name's Bill McCullough.
You know, there's so many different outfits down there right now that's come in from everywhere, in which, you know,
Yeah.
right now I'm pretty sure they need it whenever it comes to demoing all them buildings down.
Bill's been in timber most, ever since I can remember.
Well, they got a big supply store there in Dresden, don't they? That sells a lot of supplies, kind of like Tuck's.
I don't know.
As a matter of fact, I think they supply the material to Tuck's.
They used to haul logs.
Or not Tuck's, but, well, probably Tuck's too, but the guy that wound up having self-inflicted wounds last year pertaining to the duck hunter, Val and Son.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get all their material from up there at Dresden.
But that McCullough, I think his first name's Bill.
Yeah.
He's in the lumber business. I worked with him. We all worked together.
You did?
Oh yeah, that was a long time ago. Bill McCullough. We worked out at the airport.
You know, they claim that out of all this damage in Dresden, and I guess Weakley County in general,
Yeah.
nobody got killed.
That was lucky.
That was lucky.
There was 3 killed down at Sandburg.
I thought it was 4. It may have been 3.
And
My God, it just tore them up, didn't it?
there was 3 of them that got killed at Sandburg down at the trailer park. And the funny thing, Lakeview and South Point, but right off the left map. And there's a barbecue place there before you get to it, or about a quarter mile from them. It just didn't hardly do anything, did it, in Blue Bank either.
Right.
That barbecue place, I used to eat there quite a bit.
Well, like I said, according to eyewitnesses, it had a tail on it, and it was bobbling back and forth. It would stay out in the lake for a few minutes or a few seconds, and then it would go back inland.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was wobbling back and forth, and of course, every time it went out to the lake, I'm sure it probably gained momentum or something. I don't know.
It took me a minute to figure out where that picture is, but that, you know, when you turn there at McDonald's in Dresden
Okay.
and come on in at his ends, you gotta make a right.
Okay.
That's it right there.
Yeah.
If you stop, see, that's the courthouse
Right.
there.
That you're seeing the corner of the courthouse.
Yeah. And you're coming up that hill right there, and there's that one red light there, and then another one. and-
Max, do you remember whenever they built that new courthouse after the old one burned?
No, I don't.
I think they opened up the new courthouse in 1949.
Yeah, but I would have been about 4 years old then, see, so.
You don't remember it at all, though, towards them building that
We very
courthouse?
seldom ever went to Dresden, you know, unless we had to.
Because that was all a dirt road, wasn't it? Highway 89 in between.
Yeah, it was a dirt road, and most, like if Daddy needed parts for his tractor, he always went to Kennan, because Tom Wade, he had, that's where he started in tractors, that was over there. And Kennan was right there.
Where was Tom Wade originally from?
Huh?
Where was Tom Wade originally from?
Right there. See,
Did you know his dad?
Wade's was a big shot back in, man.
They was.
Oh Lord, yes, and this no joke. He had a grain place where you know, bought grain where he carried corn and beans.
Right.
And he was on the south end there, okay? And he had a cotton gin there too.
Yeah, I remember the cotton gin.
Now you come up on the north end.
He had a big outfit there, didn't
Yeah. And
he? He put out like, what was it, like 25 acres of strawberries. And he was.
And you come up there on the north end, and there was Dave Schatz' cotton gin. And Dave Schatz had a clothing store there in
You talking about the Jews?
Yeah,
The Schatzes?
yeah,
You knew them?
yeah. He had a store right there, a clothing store.
I was told that the Schatzes had more money than the Wades.
They did.
Really? How did they come up with all their loot? Come in from New York somewhere, didn't they?
I don't know. And in the summertime, or when strawberries come in, Wade's had that strawberry down there, you know. My cousin used to haul strawberries for him. They were,
And man, we're talking about real strawberries back then.
hell, my cousin used to go to Nashville with them. I'm not talking a pickup truck, I'm talking 18-wheeler he drove up there to Nashville with strawberries.
No kidding.
You know where it was at, don't you? Exact location of the strawberry patch?
So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I can tell you how to get there.
Did you know any of my mother's people? Jordans? Did you know any of the Jordans over in
I
Canton?
might have. If you go out of Kennan going towards Union City,
Right,
you look by Texas Gas,
right.
and there's a road that goes off to the right there.
That's right.
Just turn on that one. When you go to the end, if you go through that fence down there, that's where Tom Wade had his strawberries at.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, now they've cut it off now, but there was a road that went all the way back down there in behind that bottom, and it come back up there by that church, Macedonia Church, that Ted Hobbs now owns all that property down in there now. There was a road that went all the way down through there at one time. Now it wasn't nothing but a dirt road.
Yeah, I know it. I've been through there.
That's up there where that Indian mound is. You remember the big Indian mound up there, pretty close to the church that I'm talking about, Macedonia Church.
I remember when we was kids, we'd go to Kennan for our tractor and everything. Right now, instead of going through Macedonia Community, you take another road.
Take another road now.
That's the new road there.
Yeah.
Back when we was kids.
Do you by chance remember the schoolhouse that used to be there in front of the Macedonia Church on that little corner right there?
Yeah, there was one there.
You remember that church? That schoolhouse?
Yeah.
All right, let me ask you another question. Seems like you got all your wits about you. Do you by chance remember a schoolhouse after you go past Kenton on 45,
Yeah.
as you're going up that hill
Yeah.
where the city limit sign is,
Yeah.
you turn left, and you go around a couple corners. I think who is it that owns a hardware store over in Kenton?
Anderson.
Sanderson's. You go past Bill Sanderson's place,
Yeah.
and then you go past a big church. I think it's I don't remember the name of it. And then you'll go past another church, and there used to be a schoolhouse on that road back years ago. Damian Cross went to that schoolhouse.
The one at Mason Hall now. Is that what you're talking about? There was a high school there at Mason Hall.
No.
You know where Mason Hall is? don't
Oh
you?
yeah. Did Mason Hall one time used to have a city hall, and was they incorporated at one time, or was they always
They had a little
small?
trailer there. They called City Hall. You go in there and pay utilities and.
So they was incorporated at one time.
No,
City Hall.
I wouldn't call it that because there wasn't nobody there hardly.
If they had council,
Huh?
if they had a council there, it was
There was a
incorporated.
bank there, you know, and you could go into the.
I don't
bank.
remember the bank.
You'd go in there and
What was the
pay.
name of the bank?
I can't remember, but you could go in there and pay your water bill and stuff
I
like
didn't know
this.
that.
That's about it. And it finally closed and went out of the way. And at one time there was a restaurant down there, and I don't know if
I
it's,
remember the restaurant.
if it's still there.
But now there's a big granary there now.
Yeah, that time I'll never get the name of that cafe though.
You remember Scotty Whitworth? Used to own the Dairy Queen there in Kenton, and
Yeah,
he also had a pool joint there in Kenton. You remember him?
that cafe there at Mason Hall was called Out of the Way Cafe.
Out of the Way Cafe.
Yeah, you went through it, then you come out and trembled.
So you knew some of the Mayhalls back in there.
Not really.
You know Floyd Rogers?
I don't think so.
He had a brother? You never did know no Rogers back in there?
Mm-mm. Mason Hall. Oh, if you come out of Kenton and you get to Mason Hall, if you turn right, you can go across the turnpike down there. You ever been across it?
Uh-huh.
I remember it's the S&U before they have an old one through there, and it dead ended right there almost or before you got to the river. And they built that new one through there.
Isn't there a boat landing down there now?
Yeah.
Has that boat landing always been down there where you can get into the Old River right there?
Mm-mm.
It hasn't.
And,
Did you know that they got a boat landing down there on Beach Ridge now? Down there where Couples and all used to live.
Yeah.
If you go away down there past the power lines,
yeah.
they got a boat dock down there where you can get in.
Mm-mm, I didn't know that.
Have you traveled up and down the Old River quite a bit?
Not much.
Did you walk that area very much? As far as hunting and stuff.
Oh, it's been a long time ago.
Do you by chance remember the big beech tree down there?
Where at?
Down there in the bottom.
Oh,
Beech
yeah.
Ridge bottom. That's where it got its name.
Oh, yeah.
You remember the big tree that went up about I said at one time it went up probably over 200 feet or something.
I never got to it. My dad told me about it. And the wind or something finally took the top out of it where you couldn't see it.
Right.
And you can still go back there to a park they've got.
Yeah, they got a park back there, David
And
Crockett Park,
you have to walk a hell of a piece back there.
just to get to it.
Yeah, and I never did bother going back.
Because you know they claim you could put a doodle bug, one of them little doodle bugs, inside the trunk.
I don't know. I never did go back there.
A doodle bug. So that's telling me that was a pretty good sized tree back there.
I never did go back there.
Supposed to have been one of the biggest trees this side of the Mississippi pertaining to that type of tree that has ever been dialogued in America.
But I never did mess around back there, you know.
So where was your kick around place, Kenton?
Huh?
Where was your kicking around place? Where did you become a teenager and started courting and stuff, doing things? Where did you hang around at? Martin or Sharon or Kenton?
Almost. I didn't come back from Chicago till I was 10, and I was about 21 when I come back, and I was 22 when I come back.
Oh, so you done your kicking around days up there in Chicago. What part of Chicago?
North side.
North side, up around what?
Well, I've been to Wrigley Field so many times I can't count it. We live about 4 blocks from there.
The old Wrigley Field.
The one they got now, right on Madison and Clark, seemed to, let's see.
That's right up there by the sheriff's office, isn't it?
Huh?
That's right up there by the big sheriff's office, isn't it?
See, I saw things there, two things there that most people will never sleep.
What's that?
You heard of Hancock?
Yeah.
He put one down the third base line right out of the park, and an employee for the city of Chicago got that baseball.
And what was the second thing he seen?
The second one that went out, it went out on Madison, and he was for the Cardinals. That was Stan Musial.
See, I ain't never heard of that ball player. What was his name again?
Stan Musial. Boy, if anybody knows the Cardinals, they know who Stan Musial was.
In other words, if you had some of those original cards, it'd be worth some money, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. And Karen, that one went out the third base line, obviously. Somebody working for the city of Chicago got that baseball.
Right.
You know why?
What?
Because the city of Chicago had a building in there. There was a fire department right there.
Okay.
And they could sit there and didn't even have to turn the radio on and hear the announcer
Right.
right outside there.
Sure.
You sit there.
Did you work up there anywhere, Max?
Oh yeah, I worked out in the suburbs.
Where did you work at?
Oh shoot. Bunch of places up there.
Grocery stores?
No. Well, I worked for Woolworths for 2 years when I was in high school.
Woolworths? They ain't even in business no more, are they?
They went out in '85.
You used to work for Woolworths.
For 2 years.
Wow. And who else did you work for down there?
Oh Lord, I worked for Bell and Howell. Then I worked for Georgia Pacific, was a paper company.
Right.
Like that when I come back home.
How far was y'all from Cicero?
Cicero?
Down there where the horse track was.
Oh, that was a distance.
That's probably about 15 miles, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't that.
I bet it was.
I could run out to Cicero was about 6,400 west, all I had to do.
Why did they call that a hillbilly, southern hillbilly place?
Where?
Cicero at one time.
I don't know. I could run down Belmont and hit Cicero and go south on it. Come out down there. In fact, at 64th, I would go out that way and come out at Midway Airport.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know where Midway Airport is. Midway Airport is way out from Chicago.
It's right in the city now.
Well, probably because city limits is grow. I think it, whenever you get to looking at their
What one?
tri area, I think it's about 11 million people that live in Chicago right now.
And,
Of course, that's surrounding everything.
yeah.
Now, you actually just lived in Cicero. I mean, you just actually just lived in Cook County alone, right?
Yeah.
You never did move out of Cook County? You never did go north up into Antioch or nothing?
Oh, I knew I'd go up there, for visits and everything.
Did you mess around with Al Capone any back in? Did you know Al Capone?
No, he did when I was up there.
He was.
Yeah, we used to go up to Round Lake and see on Kilmer and them. They lived up there in Round Lake.
Right.
Then Ruth Ellen.
You remember the old skip-in store there at Round Lake?
And then
Where the girls would come out and wait on you, and they was wearing them roller skates, and then roll out and they'd take your order, and they'd come back and they'd bring the order to you on them roller skates. You remember that?
Ruth Ellen married a fella that had money. I mean, big money.
He was in the entertainment business, wasn't he?
No, I'll tell you what.
Well, where did she come up with all the entertainment? Because she used to work the bars up there, the martini bars,
Yeah.
remember?
Yeah, she played the piano and sang. And
Right. She picked that up from him, right?
I don't know, but see, Chuck, his name, well, I can't think of his last name. They married, and he had a bar up there in Waukee called the Roulette Wheel.
That's what I'm talking about.
And when he bought a car, he bought a brand new Lincoln Continental inside, convertible, 4-door on that thing.
And we're talking in the 50s, right?
Huh?
We're talking in the 1950s.
I was about 61 or 2.
Okay.
And hell, he went out to Idaho or Montana and killed a moose one time.
Lord God.
Boy, that was good eating too.
It was.
Hell Oh, yes.
How long did she stay married to him? Because I was told that he was abusive.
Not that I know
I think he drank a lot and got violent.
of. No, if he drank, I never seen him.
Well, you knew JW drank,
Oh, yeah.
and you knew JW beat the heck out of Polly almost every night
Yeah.
before she got tired of it and finally left him.
Yeah. I ain't seen none of his kids, and I don't know when.
Jim Boy, Tom Boy, and who was that other
I
one?
don't know.
He had that one by the first wife, and then he married Polly, and that's the one that he was abusive towards.
Yeah. Then,
I seen Jim Boy a couple years ago. He's still living up here in Chicago.
and I don't know. Dennis,
Didn't
not
say.
Dennis, but, oh, hell. The Jerry Wayne Madison. He lives in Plano, Texas.
Right, but at one time he lived up there with Ruth Helen, and that's whenever Ruth Helen was having the problems with Chuck, right?
I don't
It was
know.
Chuck, right?
I don't know. And,
Wound up having Donna Dell and her twin, Donald, and Donald was the one that ended up going to Vietnam War. Donald was the one that wound up having that bad accident up there and wound up, they find a motor something like 400 yards or 400 feet or something like that from the vehicle. They estimated they had to be doing over 200 mile an hour whenever he hit that bridge in Breland.
I don't know. I just know he died in an accident.
Well, they didn't have an open funeral for him. He was too mutilated.
And,
They didn't have an open casket.
Donna, that was his sister,
They was twins.
yeah, and, she, last I heard, she was living with Jerry Wayne out there at Plano, Texas.
She's not living with him, but she's living up there by him.
Hell, I don't know. I was aiming to go out there and see him sometime and never did.
She's married to the $64,000 man. What do you call him? The Bionic Man.
Yeah.
She's married to the Bionic Man. She's done already been out probably $1 million or better pertaining to her husband. He's hooked up on battery packs. He's had, I think, one heart bypass, and I just imagine she's been out some pretty extensive money on him.
I used to.
In other words, he can't get around no magnets. He can't go around nothing magnetical, because if it does, it's liable to shut him down.
I went to Texas about 2 or 3 times.
You probably went down there and seen Jerry Leslie, didn't you?
I was aiming to, but everything else come up. I went down there for a reason. I was to go to Texas Motor Speedway.
Right. All right, let's go back for a second, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Your dad, Leon, and Kilmer was brothers.
Yeah.
And you're telling me that Cecil was not his brother.
Yeah, he was a cousin to him.
He was a cousin to him. All right, there was more than just 2 brothers.
There was Dad and Uncle Kilmer, that's all the brothers there was. Then there was the 4 girls. There were, like I said, there was Viola, Berthy, Lizzie, and Bolina. 4 girls and 2 boys, Daddy and Kilmer. That was it, 6 children.
I got you. Cecil, he wound up picking up his wife up there in Chicago. Did you know who she was?
No. Cecil used to sell eggs all the time.
Up there in Chicago?
No, down here, that's how he made his money. Him a nice little place where he sold eggs every day, had cartons full.
Well, did you know him whenever he was up there in Chicago?
No. Mm-mm. A lot of them was up there in the 20s and 30s. So,
Did you know JW up there?
oh, he used to come by and see us.
Okay, did you know the Morgans? The Morgans lived up there at the time.
No. Daddy probably did, but not me.
Yeah, they used to visit with all of y'all back then.
Oh,
So why didn't you set up camp up there and become a permanent citizen up there somewhere around Round Lake or Fox Lake or Antioch or somewhere? Get out of the city life and make it a permanent stand up there.
I just didn't.
You like the southern life then.
Yeah.
Whenever you come down to the south, you like it down there.
Now, I remember Early Davis.
Early Davis.
Yeah. He was talking about being up there in Chicago in the 30s.
Right.
back in the 30s, listen, it wasn't near what it is now. You know what I mean? As far as roughness goes.
What was his wife's name? Gladys. No.
Rosie.
Who?
Rosie Davis.
Rosie Davis.
Yeah.
And Rosie Davis was kin to Miss Aldale really, really close.
And
I think they was half sisters or something like that.
And I remember Uncle Kilmer, Aunt Dale, and and J.W. We'd all meet sometime, go down to Jewtown.
Where was Jewtown at?
From Halsted, 12th and Halsted. There was a department store down there, the 12th Street store. And you went in this one street down there, dilapidated buildings and everything, and you'd go in and find anything you wanted. The reason they called it Jewtown was because you could Jew them down on it. You could buy anything.
You go down there now and you probably wind up with a bullet in you. Unless you're a city person.
No, it ain't there no more.
It ain't.
University of Illinois bought that out and put a
That whole what, 8-10 block area?
Yeah.
They did.
But you could go down there and shit. That stuff, it's probably stole the night before. And that was.
Now they got Chinatown down there.
Oh yeah, I've been there, but it ain't that big a place.
No.
And
did you ever hang around the Loop any?
I've been, yeah, I used to go down there all the time. You'd go down there and wasn't no trouble.
Hang around the water edge something? Just look at the ducks? And
no.
That the rail went down there, didn't it?
Yeah.
Didn't the rail go down there?
Yeah.
Did you get around most of the time in the city in the rail?
Yeah, I always took the L train. I got off on Washington, go up and be there on State Street, go 2 blocks over, and
Was you there whenever, during the time that you was living up there, the Sears Tower wasn't even built yet, was it? And you moved away, and then the Sears Towers was built, what, in the late 60s, early 70s, right?
It was built in the early 70s. I've been up in the Sears Tower.
No way.
Yeah, it's not. You go up to the 103rd floor.
So the John Hancock building was right beside that. The John Hancock building was already built, right?
Yeah, it's 90 stories tall.
But the John Hancock building is a lot older than the Sears Tower.
Yeah. And the John Hancock building is black.
What do you mean black?
That's the color of the building. That's why it stands out so.
Oh, the marble and everything is black.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I remember the first building they ever built down in that part of the country was back in the late 50s. They built a 47-story building down there. And, well, that was something back about 59 or 60.
What was that business?
That was the Prudential building, Prudential Insurance building.
Oh, insurance company.
Yeah, and it had a restaurant in it.
Ah.
And it was a revolving restaurant.
I bet that was nice.
There wasn't no boo, it barely moved.
Right.
I believe the watch could move faster than it did. It just slowly moved around up there, and you could look out all over Chicago.
All over the city?
Mm-hmm.
I bet it was expensive to eat there, wasn't it?
Huh?
Was it expensive to eat up there?
I don't know. We never ate. We just went up there to look at it, you know.
I see. But you've been all the way to the top of the Sears Tower.
Yeah, I went up to 103rd floor. That's the observation deck, they call it. Mm-hmm. I never did try the John Hancock. Because there wasn't no need of going up and it's 90 stories, so I just stayed with the Sears Tower.
Well, you wouldn't know Chicago. When's the last time you've been up in Chicago?
Oh, about 20 years ago.
Well, I was up there in 2009. And I was right there about 2 blocks from the Sears Tower and the John Hancock Tower in a building called MCC. I don't forget what the abbreviations stand for, but it had to do with prison federal prison system pertaining to mental health. Right there. And I think it seemed like it was about 35 or 40 stories, but it wasn't nothing in comparison. We went up on the observation deck too. They let us up there about once a week, just for, kind of like a reward thing. Well, since y'all done good this week, we'll let you go up there and stand around and get some fresh air. But I remember looking up there, and you could look up to the Sears Tower, and you'd see about maybe half to 2/3 of the way up there, and then the rest of it you couldn't see because of all the clouds.
Yeah.
It's amazing how low that the clouds come down through there.
Oh yeah, they do. Now we got, first time I went up there was with no clouds and nothing. We saw everything, and the last time I was up there, the clouds were in and you couldn't see nothing.
Did you know Ronnie Jean's Uncle Ronnie? Did you know his wife, Ruthie?
Yeah.
Ronnie and Ruthie?
Yeah, I knew her.
She was an RN?
Yeah, she was from Michigan.
LPN or RN.
Yeah.
She was on up the ladder. She was almost like a doctor.
Yeah, I know.
Did you know that she's still living?
Huh?
She's still living.
Yeah, I don't know where she was from. Michigan. They said
She's still living in Michigan.
Yeah.
Lower part of Michigan down there.
They had 2 boys. I don't know where they're.
They adopted them, Gary and Jeff. They're living in West Tennessee now.
And
I think they've got a criminal file though, drinking and driving and thugging and doing crazy stuff.
And Ronnie, he lived down there in Florida.
Yeah.
And we went by once or twice and seen him when we were down there.
Do you remember whenever he was going to Moody Bible College?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where is Moody Bible College?
Oh, it's right there in Chicago. And I've been there, been in the place. Let me think. Oh, Lord. I think it's right off, not far from Old Town. It's right down in there.
What number is it down in there?
Huh?
What's the number? Because everything goes by numbers over there.
Yeah, I know it. It'd be about 1500 north, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been in there before, that place.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was it pretty modern back then?
Oh, it was old back then. That was back then.
But it had modern stuff in there?
Huh?
As far as equipment?
Yeah.
Typewriters, stuff like that? It had telephones and everything in there?
That was back in the 50s, late 50s.
But it was up to date.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it was a university.
Just a small Bible college is what it was. And that's where Ronnie went to. And he was living in Florida when he died.
Yeah.
And he was a chef down there at a restaurant.
Right.
And Ronnie was born in 43. Him and Jerry Wayne Madison were the same age. And I don't know how long. I ain't seen Ruthie in 50 years.
She's still the same old Ruthie, I guarantee you. Her voice sounds just exactly like it did back 45, 50 years ago, whenever I remember.
And I don't know where them 2 boys they adopted went to.
They're in Weakley County. They're up there in Martin. I told you that a while ago. That's where they're living at.
Oh, heck.
In between Martin and Fulton. Well, how did your sister look?
She looks good.
Norma Jean?
Yeah.
Now, did she have any children?
She got 2.
Where are they at?
They're up there by her. Her daughter Holly is married. I don't know what her husband does.
I don't reckon I've never met none of her children.
And her son, Brian, he don't live far from them now. Cause he's living in, he's working and living in Atlanta. And Atlanta.
Now, who is this again?
Her son, Brian.
Okay, what's he doing down there?
Office work or something like that. And it's only 115 miles from Chattanooga into Atlanta. And she lives right outside Knoxville, so you just come straight up 75.
Probably about 2.5 hours.
Or you get about 3 or 4, depending on traffic.
Right.
I don't ever get caught in rush hour traffic.
Does she live up there by Pigeon Ford or that other place that Dollywood's real famous for? Not Pigeon Ford, that other place. What's the name of that other place? Dollywood.
Dollywood. I can't think of that other place. That's right outside Knoxville there.
You know, that place almost burnt down. I think about
Yeah.
probably 7-8 years ago.
Yeah.
Had a big drought up that way,
Mhm.
and wind was catching it just right. I think it burnt several
Yeah.
facilities down in there.
I know.
Gatlinburg. That's the name I was talking about.
Gatlinburg.
So she lives in Gatlinburg, don't
No,
she?
she lives outside of it, a little suburb like.
What's the name of it?
I don't know. They've been up there
25 years, 30?
about 20 years because they got tired of Memphis. John retired, and she did too. John's doing good. He worked at that bank for 40 years.
What bank?
Some bank there in Memphis. So he gets a retirement from there. Then he's got his Social Security.
Right.
And he's got one from the Navy too.
Oh, wow, he is doing good. Yeah.
He was in
He
the
probably
Navy.
draws about $35,000-$4,000 a month then.
See,
Just him alone.
He was in the Navy Reserve for 20 years.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was a lieutenant commander, I believe.
He was.
Yeah, no, but he used to go away 2 weeks in the summertime.
What battleship was they on?
No, he wasn't on the ship. He was land duty, something like that.
I got you.
And I know one time, they went to
Why?
Jacksonville, Florida. Norma went down there with him, stayed down there.
Really? Now, what did she get involved in towards
She
her
was
life?
Secretary for the Memphis school system.
Okay.
Done that for, I guess, 40 years. They lived in Memphis, moved out of the suburbs, up to the suburbs. Things wasn't too bad there in Memphis. Boy, they was bad in Memphis.
Out there by Germantown, or where was they living?
Germantown's where they moved to.
Yeah.
You know how bad they are in Memphis?
It ain't too far. It ain't too much difference in Memphis than it is in Chicago anymore.
Mom and Dad went down there one time to see Norma. Daddy goes out one morning, books his car, everything looks fine. He got there and the darn thing wouldn't start. He found out why. They was nice to him. They closed the hood when he got done. They just took his battery. It was only about $4.
In them bigger cities, they actually have crews that drive around. I seen this on 60 Minutes one time, where they can pull a motor and transmission. They can get the hood, the trunk lid, the doors, the tires and rims, and put it on blocks somewhere between 5 and 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Just like a bunch of pit crew people.
Yeah.
Probably be 8 or 10 of them. They'll have saws out there and they'll have torches out there. And I mean, whenever it's all said and done, they can strip a car down to its bare bone.
Yeah. But Dad got Norm to carry him down to the Sears store down there. He got a battery and come back home. And Daddy said to look at it, you wouldn't think there's anything wrong with it. They never cut the cables or nothing. Everything was just like it was, except no battery there.
Right. Wonder how they figured out how to get in the hood.
You could probably reach under there or something, and pull that piece back.
Right.
They probably done that a million times, so.
They must have known what they was doing. Huh?
Yeah, it probably didn't take them 5 minutes to get that battery.
Actually, I have to ask this question. What are those silver things on the bottom ledge of those windows? They almost look like cameras, But they're not cameras. Is it some sort of security device to where if you try to escape out of here, in other words, if you open up the windows right there, it's going to set off an alarm?
I don't know. I don't mess with them.
I bet you that's what that is.
Yeah, it might be.
In other words, if you try to get out of here without going through the front door, because they got screws and everything in there,
Yeah.
once that magnetized, yeah, that's what that is. Once that magnetized changes, I bet it sets off an alarm and it'll tell them just exactly that it was this room and you're trying to escape.
Oh, I don't know. I don't mess with.
Now, can you get out of bed and go up front and go outside and do anything up there?
No.
Or you just don't want to? I didn't know that. What happened there?
There's my wheelchair over there. See, I go to a rest home and had a problem with my foot, which I didn't know about. I'm no doctor. And they doctored it, and finally the insurance company called me and told me I was going to have to go home. My money had run out and all this stuff. Well, I give them hell over the phone about my foot like it was. The next morning, my neighbor, Raymond,
Right.
carried me to Jackson. They put me in the hospital that day, you know, on a Tuesday. Wednesday morning, they took half my foot off. Gangrene had set in because that place didn't treat it right.
Well, they took more than just half your foot.
And
They had to take half your leg right there, didn't they? From your knee down.
And what happened, they didn't get it all. It was so bad, they had to come back up, and that's what I got now.
Wow, you had to go through 2 operations then on the same leg.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I go down about every 4 to 6 weeks to see them down there in Jackson.
Well, when did that happen? When did you have that leg removed like that?
I was back in September
Of this past year?
of this year.
Of this year?
Yeah.
So that's what gave you your downfall towards you not being able to take care of yourself, wasn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Of course, here you are.
Yeah.
But you can get out of bed by yourself. I'm sure you got one good leg and you can get in that wheelchair right there and push yourself around.
It's hard because it ain't stable. That leg is shorter than the other one, and you know, I can't do it. It both bad an artificial something there, you know, to keep me balanced. I can be all right.
They ain't never tried to fit you for a prostrate?
Not yet.
Are they going to?
Probably will. But I'm happy right here.
Sure.
I'm going to get them I got another television set I'm going to put in here. I don't like it.
You got one of your own or something?
Yeah, I got a brand new one. I just bought it last December. It's 40-inch.
Do you still got stuff in that house up there?
No.
I was told that some farmer wound up selling that piece of property and somebody else owns it now. Is that correct?
Well, that house was a separate deal. There's 125 acres there, but that house is not included with it, okay?
I know, but I was told that it all sold.
No, it didn't. One person bought the house, and another bought the 125 acres back there.
Well, you know what they're doing with the house now?
Right.
They're letting it run down. Doors is open, windows is broke out of it.
Well,
It looks like something down in the hood now.
well, I lived there 30 years, and what got me was when they sold all that land back there, they put horses back there, and I couldn't do anything then back there. Well, I was going to go target practice back there with them horses running around. They'd have loved me back there with that 30-06 shooting bear cams.
Did you ever go back there and snag you up a deer or two?
No, I
Back
didn't.
years ago?
But, boy, that would have made them people unhappy. Using that 30-06 or 308 I got popping stuff off down there.
Right. Well, you didn't mind me coming up here and visiting with you, with it being a holiday and everything.
No. Hell, them deer down there, I had to stop one night right there at the house to wait so I could get in the driveway. There was only about 6 or 8 of them taking their time walking across the road in front of me. I sat there in the house.
Well, I don't know if you know it or not, but whenever that tornado hit Sandburg, the edge of it come partly on that road. If you go on down past that turnoff to the right that takes you back to Possum Trot Road,
Yeah.
if you go on down a little ways, they got substantial damage on that road back in there.
Oh, you go down there, just
I don't know if that levee or not levee, but that embankment, I don't know if that helped to steer that tornado and let it shoot it back up towards Hickman, Kentucky, or what the deal was.
you go down there and there's a house on the right, brick house. And there's an older home right across from it on the left, okay?
There's a deputy down there somewhere.
There used to be a fellow work for the TWRA. That's Jackie Childers. It set his house off the foundation.
It did.
And I think it took shingles off that old house from him. Now you go on down, there's a trailer on the left, the place down there. I don't know about it. You go past it, and you better take it easy because you go down that curve there, and it's a drop off.
A drop off.
You know, go down a hill.
Oh yeah. That's where that that earthquake mounded all that dirt up right there.
I don't know.
That's what they claim.
They don't know. But
Who's that from?
somebody you stick it in there.
This is one of your buddies?
Probably somebody here, one of the nurses or something.
I got you.
They come by and
You know that church down there below you, or back up towards Flippin's Orchard? Did you ever go to that church or get associated with any of those people over there?
No, I never did know them.
You just didn't feel like being acquainted with them?
Nah.
Did they ever come down there and ask you if you wanted to go to church with them?
Well, I just stayed out of their way and they stayed out of mine.
What I'm asking you, did they ever come down there to want to witness to you, give you some material or anything,
No.
or invite you into a homecoming or anything like that?
No. Black.
So you stayed your distance and they stayed yours.
There's a woman that lives right across the road from me there in a trailer. And Miss Davis is all I know her by. Yeah, I've been in her house one time. It wasn't because I wanted to either. She was going to do some plumbing one time. And she thought when you turned it off there, you could go ahead and do your plumbing. In other words, she was trying to fix the hot water, the cold water faucet there. And she just turned it off there, and you know the end result.
Oh yeah. I imagine it flooded some stuff, don't you?
Yeah, she come over there to me looking like a drowned rat and told me what she'd done. So I got a screwdriver and a big pressing wrench and went over there to the meter, and turned it off. I said, now you'll be all right. Now you got no water right now. But
So y'all got county water out there?
yeah, oh yeah, county does. Yeah.
Where was that coming from? Sandburg?
Hornbeak.
Hornbeak. You're close enough to have a Hornbeak address out there?
Yeah, that's my address.
You're kidding me.
4098 Old Sandburg Road.
And that's a Hornbeak address out there. A Hornbeak zip code.
4098 Old Sandburg Road, Hornbeak. You can read it right there in black and white.
Right next to, you're right next to
See at the very bottom there?
Lord, is this you?
Yeah.
When was this picture taken?
Look there at the address and everything on it. Go right down at the very bottom.
I see it. Hornbeak, Tennessee, 38232.
Yep.
Old Sandburg Road.
Yep.
You're right next to Possum Trot Road down there, ain't you?
Yep.
Possum Trot's right in behind you, isn't it?
Yep.
Did you ever know anybody down there on Possum Trot?
Yeah.
There was an old boy down there that worked at Goodyear.
Which one?
About 20 years. Right there beside Paul Kirk. Did you ever know Paul Kirk? The guy that had the horses and the horse trailer and drove the big Dodge?
I know
Not the guy that's got the Dodge. It looks like the Titan Dodge. Not that guy.
Yeah.
On down one more house from him is where Paul Kirk lives. But then if you go on down another house, I think if I'm not mistaken, he was kin to the Bashirses.
Oh, there's one fellow that's got a horse deal there, right when you turn off Old Sandburg Road, and Clayton or Clanton.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yes. But what I'm talking about is on that Possum Trot Road, going back to 22.
Yeah.
On the right-hand side, the guy used to work for Goodyear right there. He knows everything about you, man.
I wouldn't doubt that.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
And you bound to know him.
Yeah. But wait a minute, that wasn't Jimmy Brown, was it?
A little house. Did he have a one of those dish things turned upside down where he had a gazebo? That was him. That was him.
Short, skinny fellow.
Yep, that was him.
Yep, Jimmy Brown. Yeah, he was a foreman out there at Goodyear.
He was.
In fact, I hired in 73 and he hired in 76.
Well, he was the one that let me know, Maxie. Don't hold it against me for knowing this, but he was the one that let me know that you threatened one of the managers out there, and you wound up losing your job over that.
Oh, I didn't threaten one of them. It was somebody else I did.
Well, you got the blame for it. I think you wound up getting shit canned on account of it, didn't you?
No. If I did, one thing about it, I still got my insurance problem. I still got Goodyear insurance on me.
You still got a retirement from them?
Yep. Right here.
In other words, you settled up with them?
Yep.
You made some sort of a plea settlement with them?
Yep.
I was told that Goodyear wound up going all the way down to Alabama or somewhere, didn't it?
See, there's my insurance card.
This is from Goodyear?
Yeah. That's my insurance card.
Okay.
Let's see, Goodyear's got a place in Alabama.
They do. Yours is basically the same type of setup as mine, red, white, and blue insurance.
Yeah.
25 for visit, 35 for specialty visit, and 65 for emergency visit.
Yep.
That's a PPO program.
Yep.
Freedom Blue. Yeah, that's not Tennessee.
And oh Lord.
Well, you made some good money for them down there, didn't you?
Oh Lord, yeah. Yeah.
You probably bringing home what? At the time back in the 70s, you was probably bringing home $1,000 a week, wasn't you?
Oh Lord. I argued with a supervisor one time about my hours out there, about me working. I won that argument. He said I couldn't do something. I said, damned if I can. I know the law on that. See, I went in, I was going in at 11 o'clock Saturday morning, working to 7 o'clock Sunday morning. That's just, 20 hours, So,
How many strikes did you go through with them down there?
one.
And that was the one whenever Douglas Keith was striking with you?
Yeah.
That was whenever they first opened, wasn't it? About 2 or 3 years after they opened, right?
Oh, they've been there about 10, 12 years when that strike happened.
They had.
Yeah. But anyway.
They opened up in the 60s?
68.
I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, I got off at 7 o'clock that morning. I went home, cleaned up, ate breakfast, laid back down a while. Got up at 1 o'clock, had something to eat and drink, and I was back into work at 3 o'clock that afternoon.
How long did you work with them down there?
25 years. And see, I worked 16 hours that Sunday. Okay. They paid me for 32. anytime you worked on Sunday was double time out there.
Right.
So, working like that, you could really make some money.
And you was probably making what, $22 an hour, 18 at that time?
I was making about 18, 19 an hour.
But this was back in the 70s.
Yeah.
That was good money, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't nobody else around. What was the minimum wage around here? Like $2.35 or something like that?
Yeah. But, Lord, I could take a day's vacation, which I used to, and held my vacation pay for that day, for one day, was more than what I could make in 8 hours.
Huh. Whatever happened to Louise, your first wife? Whatever happened to her?
She died.
What of?
I know, it was liver trouble, I think, or something like that.
Did she go to drinking real bad?
No. She was living here in Union City when she died. And she was buried outside of Kennon, at Union Grove.
Union Grove?
Yeah, I think that her mother and 2 aunts and her sister are buried there. You'll go out of Kennon there going north, and there used to be a little fruit stand on the left there.
Uh-huh.
Turn left on that road and go down there, and the church is on the right.
Uh-huh.
That's where she's buried at. And Jeff's got a half sister living here in town, Desiree Potter, and she lives over on 4th Street.
So it didn't kill the whole family, the fire. There was one that escaped it.
What, that fire?
Yeah.
Jeff was the only one that done that.
Jeff was the only one that lived through the fire.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that there was another sibling, a sister, and apparently she wasn't in the same room whenever y'all was renting out that hotel.
Let's see.
So you're telling me that she's still living?
Oh, no. Let's see, there was May and Karen, that was my wife. She died. 3 of the children died. And her, that was 4 of them that died, okay?
Right.
That left just me and Jeff.
So she didn't have a daughter?
No.
So who are you talking about a half sister? Did you have a child by Louise?
Huh?
Did you have a child by Louise, the first wife?
Oh, yeah. See, Jeff's mother, my first wife, that was Jeff and Chris's mother, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you had another child by another wife? Is that what you're telling me?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Who did you have another child? Who did you have another child by? What? The wife that died?
Yeah, Karen, my second wife, I did. I had a son there, you know.
You had a biological son from her?
Yeah, oh yeah.
How long had y'all been married, Maxie?
About 4 years.
What was the deal on that fire anyways?
I have no ideas. I never did know.
Nobody never
never
made any type of attempt to make any type of amends pertaining to...
They never told me anything. Now Karen and Jimmy and Jonathan, that's the child I had with her. They're buried up at Martin in the city cemetery up there. Mm-hmm.
Well, you know that there was rumors going around at that time that it was self-inflicted,
Well,
that somebody had set that fire.
I remember that day because I got up to go to work and I fixed me a cup of coffee and just walked out to the car, got in it and drank my coffee going to work, and I was getting ready to do a job there. Started on a job at Elam, that's my boss then. I was kidding with him about how many tires he wanted rejected, you know, something like this. He said, no, you're going.
Did you ever hear that it was an arson job?
No, I didn't.
You never did hear that?
Elam told me, he said, no, you ain't doing nothing but going to the hospital right now. I went to the hospital.
Well, you had to bury the dead, didn't you? I mean, you had to go to the funerals.
But I went to the hospital, found out what was going on. I asked my stupid ass cousin to carry me to Midway so I could get some clothes out there. Oh, I looked like killing the son of a bitch. Oh, I was mad as hell. Wayne, hurry up. Oh, I don't want to break the speed limit. I might get a ticket. And I'd been better off telling the deputy sheriff to carry me out there. He just crept along. When I flew in from Houston the last time when Karen had passed away,
Yeah.
the idiot was late getting there, and hell, I'm hungry. Stop off once, that wasn't enough. I gotta stop off again. Oh, you don't have to get no worry. Doug Murphy don't call.
So apparently you didn't get along too well with her people.
That was my own cousin right there.
Who was he?
Wayne Alexander.
Wayne Alexander, the auctioneer?
No, we're related to him, okay? I'm related to him.
We're related to Mr. Alexander, the auctioneer?
Yeah.
How we kin to him?
Mother's maiden name was Alexander.
Your mother's name?
Yeah, it was Alexander.
Margaret was a Alexander.
Yes.
Well, let me ask you a question. You remember Hillary Pennick, right?
Yeah.
You remember Mabel?
Yeah.
How did we wind up getting kin to her sister, which was Zora Bell Lovelace over there in Martin that used to be a school teacher? You remember Zora?
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
You remember Zora though, right?
Yeah. And
how did we wind up being kin to them?
I don't know. Now, my cousin,
Well, what was their last name?
there's so many of them.
There was Dawson, but she had to marry into the family,
Yeah.
is what made her kin to us, huh?
Probably.
By marriage.
Yeah. Now, Wayne Alexander, he teased me off.
What did Wayne use? It seems like I remember that name. I ought to know that person.
He lived out there at Midway.
Okay.
And God.
You know, Midway used to be an army base, right?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Midway that was the army base. Okay, the airport down there was a army base right there. The old airport was. I remember when I was a kid, there was only one way in there and one way out. There was a guardhouse right there going in there, still there, and there was a barracks in there and everything.
They ain't got nothing out there hot pertaining to a missile or nothing, do they?
There ain't nothing there now.
There ain't no nuclear missile down in the ground over there, is it?
Huh?
Yeah, there's not no nuclear missile down in the ground over there, is it?
No, ain't nothing there.
I guess they bring in and out the big shots.
Yep, that's where they fly.
Mhm.
Lincoln, that run.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, they've got a route now from Union City to St. Louis, a round trip that's very, very inexpensive that runs every day now.
I don't know. I ain't been out there.
I think that's right.
I ain't been out there in years. And
Well, Maxie, I have to ask this question because you know I'm a religious person.
Yeah.
I believe in God. Do you have your arrangements and your affairs in order pertaining to if you was to pass away or die tonight?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I feel responsible to at least ask you if you still got a relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, I've got everything taken care of. I mean, the funeral home I'm going to is right up here.
Okay.
It's Edmonston Mosley. If you go up here to
I know where it is.
red light, there's
I know where it is.
used car lot and everything.
But what I'm saying is, do you have things right in your heart with God?
Oh yeah, I ain't got nothing wrong with me.
Okay.
But
You're at peace with yourself then.
Yeah.
Good.
I went up there to Edmonston Mosley, took out funeral arrangements for them. So I mean, I ain't like some people that's going to kick.
Well, what happened? Like, I have to ask this question because you said you got a TV. You said you put it all in storage, right?
Yeah.
Well, man, that right there is going to eat you alive, ain't it?
No. Norma said she'd pay for it. I said I would. No, Norma said she would. So
Well, that's probably about $35, $40 a month, ain't it?
I don't know. And see it in a minute here. But Edmonston Mosley's going to take care of that, and I'm going to get a lot out of the Alamo and be buried there.
Where are you going to be buried at over Elmo?
I
Over
have
pretty close to your daddy and mama over there?
Yeah.
In the backside?
I'll be
Huh?
It'd be in back of both the Kilmer and them.
Okay.
Jimmy Davis, his dad bought 10 lots there. This is back in the 40s when Tom Davis done that, bought 10 lots out.
Okay.
And ain't but 2 of them been used.
Really?
And they're all sitting there. And I can get one from Jimmy for $200 or $300, see?
Jimmy who?
Davis, Jimmy Dale.
You know Jimmy Dale moved.
I know he lives up in Martin.
Lives up there by Westview School, don't he?
Uh-huh. I'm going to call him sometime, or we're going to get together. And I'm going to get me a lot there. Then I'm going to...
So Jimmy Dale's in control of all those lots.
Yeah. Yeah, see, Rex is gone.
Rex was his brother, right?
Yeah. Hey, Dad.
Rex was the one that rode the big Harley or the big Red Wing or whatever it was, motorcycle.
Rex got out of high school and he went right into the Army. And he had 20 years then and was going back to Arkansas. They was living in Alabama and he was going to Arkansas to see his mother. And a woman pulled right out in front of him from her driveway and they hit. And he died from that wreck there. And he's buried in Alabama.
Well, you know Jimmy Dale basically had the same thing, but he was riding a trike bike at the time whenever that person pulled out in front of him and it wound up costing him his leg.
Yeah.
You know it? You and him got the same characteristics now.
Yeah.
He don't have a leg, you don't have a leg.
He lost the left leg, I lost the right leg. But he's got 10 of them there, and I can get one from him. Then I'll go to Greenfield. That'll make me out a headstone. That'll be about $700-800 for a headstone.
Well, have you done all this stuff? Have you made these?
I'll get Norma to do that.
Okay.
But,
Well, I had to ask because I know that you're family. I mean, you are family. You're part of me. Believe it or not, regardless whether you like me or you don't like me, we're still family.
Mac.
yeah.
What do you need?
Hey, Mac.
What do you
Your
need?
supper.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, look at you go.
Yeah.
Maxie, I guess with the bringing supper and everything in here, it's time for me to go.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see they're feeding you good and bringing you coffee and taking care of you.
Yeah.
I know it's rough towards going through this transformation period. That's one reason why I want to come up here and see you during Christmas time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it ain't like that you got people coming in here every day seeing you for pertaining to family.
My neighbor down at the lake, he'll come up here sometime.
Will he?
Yeah.
Well, if you don't mind, listen, if you don't mind, before you open that up, I want to have a prayer with you, if you don't mind.
Just a minute. My neighbor come up the other day, and he does all my banking for me. He got down over the insurance company. I give him my insurance thing, you know. I said, don't open this till you get down there. He like to have a fit when he opened that bill up.
My goodness.
I told him to go to the bank and get $500 to pay that insurance out. So he waited till he got down there and got that out and opened that insurance bill and $100 fell out. That was his Christmas present. And his birthday present because he
Well, good for you.
25th.
Take care of the people that take care of you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I want to pray for you, Max.
Yep.
Father God, we thank you, Lord, for this day. We thank you, God, for you being with Maxie and protecting him and giving him a bed and making his life somewhat ease pertaining to all the hell that's went on in his life, because I know the things that's happened in his life and he knows the things that's happened in mine. I just pray, God, that you'll continue to watch over us, forgive us of our sins, and be with us. In Jesus' name we ask, and amen. Max, I got one more other thing to ask before I hang up the phone here.
Right.
Why was my father, Bobby, why was he so brutal whenever it come to him disciplining his
I
children?
don't know. I know one thing about Bob. He had a bad temper because it would snap at the,
Do you think it had something to do with the military, him being in World War II and and him losing his best buddy and a hand grenade blowed up in.
I know he was wounded there with artillery. I think shell got hit.
Yeah, he was.
And
He got a Purple Heart out of the deal. But do you think that had an effect on him?
Probably does.
Because I mean, back then, whenever they had war, didn't they?
Yeah.
During World War II, that was war.
Yeah, and like
not to say that those other wars wasn't war, but I'm just saying that was a very vicious, brutal war.
JW.
He was another one.
Yeah, there was 400 people killed where he was at. You know,
Was he a Battle of the Bulge or something?
he was worse than that. You ever heard of Okinawa?
He was at Okinawa.
Okinawa.
That's where he was.
You ever heard of an aircraft carrier?
Yeah.
USS Bunker Hill.
Lord.
A kamikaze got that ship, part of it. You can imagine what that was like. I mean, there wasn't no place to go, dig a hole or anything when that thing hit you.
Oh, I imagine.
There's 400 men killed on that ship. There was like 2,500, 3,000.
And JW was on that ship whenever that got hit? He was.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the lucky ones then, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Did it throw him off the ship or did it injure him or do you know?
I don't think it hurt him or anything. He might have been below deck or something, you know.
Right.
There's so many things you could do.
Oh, yeah. It's almost like a city.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Because
You know, the only thing that saved my dad, because he was scheduled to go to the Battle of the Bulge, he was there with the 2nd Infantry out of Washington, the Chiefs, was he had some sort of emergency operation. Did he ever tell you about that?
But
I think he had appendix removed or something.
But
That saved him, because if he would have went on with his group, you know who lived in his group? Nobody. He was the only remaining survivor. Do you think maybe that was wearing on him, Maxie?
it could be.
It could have been, huh?
Yeah, of course.
Because he felt like that he shortchanged death, and maybe he should have been one of the ones that died with his battalion. I think there was about 225 in his battalion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of those guys come back grief-stricken like that because they felt like that it should have been them that got
Oh yeah.
taken out.
Yeah. But JW used to tell me things about being on an aircraft carrier. They was funny too. You know.
Oh, I bet. Did you ever hear any tales about JW being able to break any horse down there around Hop-In area back whenever he was a teenager growing up?
No, I never did.
He was supposed to have been one of the tough ramrods down there that could break just about any horse down there.
I know one thing JW told me one time. He said you can take orange juice, put a shot of torpedo juice in there. He said, boy, that made a hell of a cocktail.
What's potato juice?
Torpedo juice, alcohol, them torpedoes on them planes, you know. See, a carrier had bombs, torpedoes, everything on there them planes carried.
Okay, and they burnt alcohol?
Yeah.
And he was taking that alcohol and mixing it with making his own mixed drinks on the ship?
All those boys down there. I mean, he was the only one.
Really?
Yeah. He said, boy, they used to do that. I mean, you know, you couldn't tell it was gone. They could just say it evaporated. You know.
It didn't poison him?
Shit, no.
So you're talking about 200 proof alcohol?
100 proof easy, and they were mixing that, a little of that with orange juice, and he said it made a hell of a cocktail.
Well, listen, I'm going to get on. It's been good talking to you, and I appreciate you giving me this paper.
Okay.
Is there anything that I can do for you before I leave?
No.
Anything at all? Make a telephone call, go to town, pick up something, go tell somebody something, go make sure something's taken care of. Is there anything that I can do towards being your foot soldier?
No, not right now. See, hell, I'm comfy right now.
Well, can I do you got an ink pen where I can give you my telephone number? That way, if you do have to have something or pertaining to going to town and picking up something or something, all you gotta do is call me and I'll be down here to help you.
Wait a minute.
Because I bet you've lost my telephone number.
Probably have. Wait a minute. What is your telephone number?
Let me cut this off. I don't want them to know this.